hamkufanya. Kila mse ana right takubanja tunafaa stand up, kuna mse anakukanya. Kila youth come forward bila hair round lazima tutoe Himalayas. Kila youth come forward bila hair round lazima tutoe Himalayas. Kila mse ana right takubanja tunafaa stand up, kuna mse anakukanya.
Okay, all right. It's the 8th month, the 10th month, the 8th day of that 10th month, October 2024. Welcome back to KUTV Rise today. Welcome back to specifically this show, Biashara Tuesday. I'm glad that you're able to create time for us this morning. Grab yourself a cup of hot beverage, water, milk, coffee, tea, whichever that you fancy, and join us for a wholesome discussion all the way to 10 a.m. This is a business show, so we're having a look at the business of every single person and the collective business of the Republic as well. So we'll make sure that we cover as much as possible that's relevant for you all the way to 10 a.m. So keep tabs on us, the live stream that is there. Leave a comment, give us a shout out on social media at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. That's where I'll be having a look at those comments at as I give you the feedback throughout this show. We have a host of guests as well, so I'll be letting you in on the conversations that we are having this morning, the newspaper review discussion later as well. So tune in for that and grab yourself a copy of the dailies and be prepared with the most important business of the day. All roads this day do not lead to Parliament, or all roads lead to Parliament, and this is for only specific people. That is the members of Parliament, members of the Senate, anyone who works in Parliament, the family of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President himself, and 4 lawyers. Those are the people who are going to be allowed in the halls of Parliament today, when the roads will be closed later on as the impeachment motion against the second in power takes center stage in the political discourse of the nation today. At 5 p.m. is when DP Gachagua will be allowed to defend himself, and he'll be expected, of course, in Parliament, accompanied by 4 of his lawyers, his family members, and only a few of those who work in his office. Anybody telling me to resign is a joker. That is what DP Gachagua said yesterday, just in an abrupt state of events where he issued a press conference to try and recuse himself from the numerous accusations which have been brought forth against him in this poisoned chalice, which is the seat of the deputy president. So DP Gachagua is a man under siege, as we normally call it, but he's a man under siege who is likely to leave this kind of siege, is likely to leave his hairline in recession. It has been a very tough few months for him in the past few months, of course, but the past few weeks have been an extreme nightmare, I imagine, for the DP. His impeachment has been tabled in Parliament, a first one in this nation. The tough-talking Riggy G has been reduced to a man issuing apologies from Sunday to those who he has wronged from a long way back, something that is not likely of a Murima kingpin or a Mount Kenya kingpin. So this day he is going to face a host of allegations which, according to the list I am seeing here, will take him quite some time to detail and to defend. But he is very well prepared from his statements yesterday that, of course, his lawyers will ensure that they fight this tooth and nail all the way to the end. So what does he have to say for himself? He says that in this DP ouster, which is pushed by the Kibwezi West Member of Parliament, Mwengi Mutuse, is being accused of insightful remarks undermining President William Ruto, who is his boss, interfering with leadership in the Nairobi County government, attacking the High Court, bullying other politicians, and a host of other issues. At his press conference yesterday, Gachagua made nonsense of these numerous calls to his resignation from a section of politicians and, of course, the public. He insisted that he was voted by 7.2 million Kenyans, and nobody should dare suggest that he resigns without public participation. He maintained that he's been loyal to his boss, President William Ruto, and went on to defend his source of wealth. So we're very concerned. Of course, this being a business show, we'll have a look at what those figures are like. But DP Gachagua defended them, saying that his sources of wealth are light allegations, and he acquired these multi-million shillings properties not illegally, but legally. Some of them during the tenure of President Mwai Kibaki, and some are inheritances from his late brother Nderitu Gachagua. He claims, or members of parliament have claimed, that Gachagua uses 22 companies to launder money and conceal proceeds of crime. He says that he's been a businessman long before Ruto was deputy president, or long before he himself joined politics. So we have a look at that as well. After he became DP, Gachagua says that he transferred some of these companies to his children, but advised them not to do business with government so that it does not fall under any issues of conflict of interest. So the member of parliament, Mutuse, goes on to claim that Gachagua has amassed properties which are worth 5.2 billion Kenyan shillings illegally, and this is illegitimate given that his legitimate income totals at 12 million Kenyan shillings per annum. So he says that DP Gachagua should answer to how he was able to raise a net worth that is surpassing his annual income. Gachagua said on Monday, there's nothing here that violates the constitution, and there's been no gross misconduct, and is innocent of all these allegations. Pointing back to his forgiveness plea on Sunday, Gachagua said that this is not an admission of wrongdoing, and during that church service in Karen, he just asked that anyone he might have wronged without his knowledge gives him a leaf or forgives him, but this does not mean that he is weak or that he is admitting to any wrongdoing. So what is this poisoned chalice that is the deputy president's position? If you have a look at all the way back to the first vice president, that is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was the first one to resign, saying that he has a conscience and will not continue to do his work, or will not continue to deputize the first president, Jomo Kenyatta, without having a job to do, saying that he was earning money with no work to do. So he resigned and left a very old Mzee Kenyatta to figure out how to do the presidency. Later, it has not been a cakewalk for any of the deputy presidents or vice president. Most of them have either resigned as quickly as possible or have been fired, and we'll be having a look at a detailed history of that seat of the deputy president, or formerly the vice president, later in the newspaper review section with Ojwang Mariam. Of course, a detailed review of the happenings in this political discourse at the moment. Public participation also happened some few days back. Was it really public participation, given the activities that were broadcasted on that day? Hired crowds, hecklers, and of course a host of other Kenyans who actually were there for genuine reasons. We'll see. Are these distractions from what is happening in the country, from the Adani deal, which the deputy president called the Adani scandal before it is even a deal? So which means there's some things which are happening in the background that we need to keep a tab on. SHA, the Social Health Authority, which is now giving you the Social Health Insurance Fund. I've seen some Kenyans calling it SHA, SHIF, or Shakahola. So those are discussions that we also have a look at here, the benefits or lack of benefits from this new health scheme, which is being forced onto Kenyans by the current Kenya Kwanza government. A discussion that will come on earlier before the newspaper review section will be here with CRECO, the the consortium for reforms and the civil society, which is the consortium of governance and human rights. We're having a discussion on misinformation and disinformation. We've done this before here, and they've been also doing research on their own, having a host of discussions with other key players in this industry, and of course as well those who are well versed in matters of the constitution. The economy of misinformation: who gains, who loses, and the net effect on the young people. What is the correct information from the DP's utterances yesterday, from the impeachment that is happening today? Where is the truth and where is the lie? What is the economy of the misinformation and disinformation that's going around? At the same time, who gains and who loses? Those are the questions we're asking ourselves here, and we're exploring those dynamics, identifying the beneficiaries as well as the broader impact on the young people who are supposed to take charge of the business of this republic. We're having a look at the financial markets as well. I have information for you on the strength of the shilling, the circulation of money in our economy, where to invest and where not to invest. So those are also things that you need to keep a tab on as we go on with the show. Welcome to KUTV Kenya. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. My name is Richard OKENYE. I'm going to be happy to engage with you all the way to the end. So keep it around and we'll see what births or what comes out of this show. Let's have fun. It's looking good for you on major roads this morning. I've seen Mombasa Road, Kunaka Poa, Thika Road. It's all good, except as always, if you are at KCA, Nikubaya, but not as bad as I have seen it here. The images are looking all right. Thika Road, Mwendo uko salama, ata hakuna shida mingi. That is Babu Timna Murimi ambaye kwa Thika Road himself. There's also some information on safety, road safety. As always, I try and give a sensitization every single morning when you're going out to Kenyan roads. We're championing road safety. So let me begin with this very comical graphic that I always find here once in a while. So know your role if you're going out there. Driver, eyes on the road, mind on the drive, hands on the wheel. Your eyes on the road, your mind on the drive, your hands on the wheel. Obey your speed limit and ensure you're sober. That's for you as a driver. As for the co-driver, you're the official navigator. You are the temperature control guru. You're the mixtape selector. And you're also the designated texter. If anyone needs a conversation to be passed to the driver, that's your work. You're the person who to check Google Maps to ensure no one's lost. And also the mixtape selector, ensure that the aux is well connected and playing good jams. Backseat, you are the asker of, are we there yet? You are the snacks distributor to the people at the front seat, and you're also the occasional napper, the only person who's allowed to take naps from time to time. So know your role. If you're out there, and have an amazing day. That's information from Road Sense Kenya. It's a very interesting graphic that they always share. So Thika Road kuko sawa, Mombasa Road kuko sawa, and that's traffic information for you out there. Also stationary trucks, you are told to use this reflective plastic that can be used to place alongside the lifesaver triangle. So that car VLC looking like plastic reflective material, please do use it alongside the lifesaver triangle to ensure that you're reducing the number of deaths and that you're as visible as possible to other road users. That's information that you're getting on in terms of those who are truck drivers. Rwanda has taken very serious measures. I always get this on Tuesdays, just people commending Rwanda in terms of making it safe for pedestrians and cyclists. So Kenya, when tutafika hapo siku gani? That's the question that everyone's asking. Magadi Road outbound and inbound Ongata Rongai kuko jam packed, so beware of that information. That roundabout on the way to Allsops pia kumeshikana hapo. That is the yes, roundabout all the way to Allsops. This is from Donholm interchange all the way to Thika Road. Imeshikana pale Mathare Riverside Bridge especially, so use service lane if it's possible for you to do that. Drive like your kids live here. That's George Wahome anakwambia. The only thing you need to think of when you're going out there is drive like your kids live here. If you have that in mind, and then you're making sure that other road users are safe as well. Weather conditions as of this morning: 16 degrees Celsius, it's cloudy, and lows of 15 degrees Celsius, highs of 27 degrees Celsius. Humidity 91%, precipitation chances at 5%. So kunaweza nyesha na kunaweza kosa kunyesha, but it's mostly cloudy in Nairobi and its environs. In the Lake region, the Kenya Met Department says you will expect rainfall to continue for the rest of the week, and other regions in highlands of the Rift Valley and central Kenya. So cloudy with chances of rain in those regions I've mentioned, but the rest of the country expected to generally remain dry. On Saturday, we are expecting rainfall in Nairobi and its environs, so prepare accordingly. What's happening out there on the roads? What kind of information do you have for us? I saw someone who tried the Madaraka Express, which is the SGR train from Nairobi to Mombasa. However, they used the new premium services, or the new premium coach, which goes for 7,500 on one-way trip from Nairobi to Mombasa. Their experience they have detailed here was not very satisfactory, but it was above average. So if you've tried it, do let us know. Can you pay for 7,500 to get to the coast when you can pay 8,000 to get a flight ticket on that one-way trip? Let us know what is happening out there on the roads and more information, and we'll relate to the rest of our audience. This is still Biashara Tuesday. Conversations are coming up on business, the economy, and politics. Don't go too far. News updates as well from KUTV Newsroom, a roundup of the most important ones within our borders and outside. And then we get to interact with you on the social platforms. Don't go far. From the Gachagua presser that happened yesterday to the US elections, we have updates for you that are very relevant, and we are thanking the reporters at KUTV Newsroom for what we are about to relay at this moment, which will also inform the discussions that are coming up. So this is the time for it. But just to mention that Maggie Gathoni is here saying, Usiguze Murima, my friend, but the tribalism in this country is on another level. Ojwang Mariam, who will be also here a bit later, saying tuko ndani ya show kuliko Adani. Kumbe mtegemea chanduguye hafi maskini. If wahenga could rise up today, they would die again. Kenyans are outdoing themselves. Very interesting reactions we are seeing here. Also, I did see that on Twitter, we had a comment that going to be relevant. This is Perry Platimapas anasema, appealing for your dead relative to be respected when you're part of an administration that ordered, denied, and continues to ignore the massacre of innocent citizens is so LOL. Appealing to your dead relative to be respected when you're part of an administration that ordered, denied, and continues to ignore the massacre of innocent citizens is so LOL. That is a feedback that's interesting. James Njeri anasema, lawyers are giddy watching this impeachment process unfold. This is how constitutions are tested. The other thing is that if number 2 can be impeached, so can number 1. The process is exactly the same under Article 145. We must demystify the all-powerful presidency. So James Njeri there saying that if we use Article 145 and we do this for number 2, who's DP Gachagua, we can also do it for number 1, who's President William Ruto. Discussions which will happen here later on the newspaper review section, so make sure that you are tuning in for that. Keep us in on your comments, your feedback, and your reactions on social media at KUTV Kenya at Richard_Okenye, and I will be reading that as we go on. This is what the newsroom has for us this morning. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday evening came out to openly defend himself against the 11 impeachment charges which have been leveled against him. Gachagua has strongly refuted the allegations that his properties are proceeds of crime and corruption. In his defense, Gachagua says his properties are inheritance from his late brother James Nderitu Gachagua. Gachagua has also condemned the whole impeachment process, terming it baseless, with claims that it is politically instigated to humiliate him. He has also criticized the manner in which public participation procedures were conducted, saying it was not fair to only give the public charges against him without giving him a chance to defend himself as the accused. Nevertheless, Gachagua has accused Honorable Mwengi Mutuse for tabling a motion in Parliament that he has no idea of its contents, and even dared him to go ahead and bring evidence for the all 11 charges he presented before Parliament. He has affirmed that no company in his family has ever dared business or do business with the government. Gachagua, however, says he is ready to face the Parliament today for his impeachment hearing.
Whatsoever to resolve this youth, I will fight to the end. I will tremendous respect from the beginning. Overturning the will of the people is not a joke. It calls for very serious the position and all these issues here. It's the threshold. You go to Bunge tomorrow, I'll be there at 5 for 2 hours. And a book like this. In the unfortunate event, it proceeds to the Senate, I'll be there to get my innocence by way of evidence. When I got this press conference, there was a lot of speculation that was not This is a man elected by 7.2 million Kenyans. How dare you suggest to him that he can do so without public participation? Kenya, the government agencies are supposed to be accountable to the Kenyan people, including the National Intelligence Service, and calling them out when there is a dereliction of duty does not amount to anything. In any case, the Director General of Police is not above the law. He is a public officer. Just like the President, the Deputy President, Cabinet Ministers, he too is subject to criticism like any other public officer. In fact, I'll have videos. President William Ruto as Deputy President at one time criticized the then Director General of the National Intelligence Service. In another video, he heavily criticized the then Inspector General of Police for underperformance. I have learned from my boss how this job is done. It's clear. It's done. I mean, nobody, the President is criticized daily. The Deputy President is criticized.
All right, away from the Deputy President, whose business we will also be discussing later on the newspaper review section, the Kenyan government will continue to invest in capacity building and technical skills training for the public servants to fully leverage technologies and maximize the gains from innovation. This is according to Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi at the 2024 Kenya Revenue Authority Annual Summit.
In order to completely hold technical skills training and capacity building for public servants, the Kenyan government, under His Excellency President William Ruto, will proceed to invest in innovation and maximize the gains accordingly. According to Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi at the 2024 KRA Annual Summit, he added that the summit program has not only placed emphasis on unlocking revenue potential, but also captured critical matters in the digital age.
We should rethink traditional tax rules and be prepared to implement global solutions that ensure all sectors contribute equitably to the national resource base.
Additionally, he stated the need to be prepared to implement global solutions that ensure all sectors contribute equitably for the national resource base, as well as leverage the power and rapid innovation of technological advancement currently driving the global economy.
Tax administration must proactively adopt technology-driven solutions and systems that facilitate trade and improve domestic resource mobilization.
In attendance was also Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury John Mbadi, who said establishing strong bonds between tax and legislators as well as stakeholders and citizens is very crucial, insisting that citizens should have a voice in the decisions that affect them, including the policy-making process.
I think we are alive to that recently, when the citizens felt that they were not involved in making decisions on tax policy, we know the outcome of that. It is not long ago.
According to Mbadi, the National Treasury has a potential of collecting at least 6% of GDP as value-added tax, but only collecting 3.8% due to tax feasibility being a challenge.
The problem is that we are not collecting tax that we should collect, not because Kenyans don't want to pay tax. We are probably overtaxing a few Kenyans and leaving majority of us not paying their fair share of tax.
This summit is therefore considered to present a great opportunity to engage in a constructive dialogue which will lead to meaningful framework and policy reforms. Emma Mwangi, KUTV.
Right. Let's go to the Council of Governors. Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi has been elected as the new chairperson of the Council of Governors, replacing his Kirinyaga counterpart, Anne Waiguru, whose tenure ended after serving 2 terms at the helm of the county boss's governing board. Nyeri County boss Mutahi Kahiga will now be the deputy COG chairperson, effectively filling the spot previously occupied by Governor Abdullahi.
After serving as Council of Governors Vice Chair, Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi has been unanimously elected as the Council of Governors Chairperson, replacing Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, who served for 2 terms. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, on the other hand, was elected as the Vice Chair. The 47 governors elected new leadership to steer the council for the next 2 years as they considered the new health plan and the social health insurance fund. The race for the new COG boss was a tight one, bringing in 5 governors including Nairobi Johnson Sakaja, Kajiado's Joseph Olelenku, Mr. Abdullahi, Governor Mutahi Kahiga for Nyeri, as well as Mudhomi Joki for the Rakanithi. MS Waiguru, while delivering her last State of Devolution address, said that the counties had made significant strides in several sectors, including health, education, tourism, and energy in the past year. However, she noted out that National Treasury did not disburse the full 385.4 billion shillings as expected in the equitable share allocation for the 2023-2024, but instead disbursed 354.6 billion, which was 8% short of the expected amount. Ahmed Abdullahi now joins a list of governors who have served before, including Isaac Ruto, who served from 2013 to 2015, Peter Munya, who served from 2015 to 2017, Josephat Nanok, who served from 2017 to 2019, Wycliffe Oparanya, who served from 2019 to 2021, Martin Wambora, who served from 2021 to 2022, and Anne Waiguru, who is exiting, having served for 2 years from 2022. Dennis Munyi, KUTV.
All right. Is it likely that Governor of Kirinyaga County is preparing herself for something else? We'll wait and see. Kenyatta University yesterday held a World Teachers Day conference to celebrate teachers nationwide and also to look into issues affecting Kenyans. According to teachers and stakeholders present, the government has a mandate to protect teachers' welfare so as to improve their service delivery. Listen in.
In commemoration of the World Teachers Day, Kenyatta University, championed by the School of Education, held a conference to celebrate the World Teachers Day, where key stakeholders in the education sector took part. According to the teachers present in the event, there is need to improve teachers' welfare so as to improve service delivery.
From the onset of teaching, a teacher is not only the one who is in school, but also a parent. So today we are marking the Day of Teachers. It's a grateful thing that we need to also honor teachers and respect them. Apart from that, we need also to uplift teachers and appreciate for their effort that they are making in the society. Apart from them remaining in class, they are making leaders for the future.
Inclusion of teachers living with disability was also highlighted, where the teachers called on the government to increase funding in special needs education, for teachers in that line of work are undergoing challenges that in return cause underperformance.
We also have teachers with special needs who go through a lot of challenges. You find that they are crying for their readers allowance, especially those who are blind, their personal allowance for those people who need a wheelchair. It is not being given in time.
Teachers in turn also highlighted that stakeholders and Teacher Service Commission should include them in salary payment, for some of them are undergoing challenges as they start up their teacher's career. According to them, teaching practice should be considered as normal teaching and therefore they should be compensated.
Our teachers are suffering. Remember, teachers are the kingmakers. Teachers are the person. A teacher is the person who makes that lawyer, who makes that doctor, who makes even that president. Therefore, they are the people who should be given first priority, because without them, we cannot have a complete society. Therefore, as an upcoming teacher, I am requesting the government or an organization to look at this way of remunerating our teachers also, because they are doing a lot. Remember, we have the interns, and we have a new funding model which has come up with a lot of challenges. We should have a clear formula of doing all this.
The event brought together key stakeholders in the education sector, where they deliberated on how to join hands so as to push for reforms that will improve their work environment in these harsh economic times. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Let's move on to Tana River, where a section of that county's leaders have called on the government to arrest leaders believed to be inciting the community to violence so as to bring peace between the warring communities after 8 people were killed in Bangali area of Tana North. The reason is said to be fight over land. Brenda Nyongesa has a full report.
During a public rally held in Oda Village in Tana River County, the government has been urged to bring to book all leaders from the region who are said to be inciting inter-community clashes among the people. Rally was led by the PS of Government Affairs, Idris Dokota, and their women representative, Amina Dika. It was noted that the two communities fighting were all Muslims, yet they have begun causing bloodshed.
Kwa hivyo tunahimiza wananchi, hakuna kitu ghali kama amani. Tudumishe amani, tupendane kama jamii za Tana River. Leo ni aibu kubwa sana kwa jamii kuuana, watu 10, watu 20. Na jamii hizi ukiangalia karibu wote ni Waislamu. Na ambapo Uislamu umekataa masala ya kuuana, ya kumwaga damu ya mwenzako. So lazima, hakuna mtu ambaye ni bora Tana River, sote tuko sawa. Kama kuna matatizo, enda katika ile sehemu ambayo unaweza ukapata usaidizi, usuluhishwe, kuliko kulieka ili ije shida katika jamii.
King in Oda Village, Hussein Dado said all those behind the killings should be arrested and no one should be spared. While condemning the killings, he says he was ready to meet all leaders from the two communities and forge a way forward to ensure long-lasting peace. According to Idris Dokota, he says it is said that the two communities fighting were all Muslim and yet they are active in causing bloodshed.
Lakini mambo hii ya Tana North, serikali isisite kushika mtu yoyote aliyechochea wananchi kupigana. Mimi nimejitolea, nimejaribu kuongea na wazee wa jamii yote mbili, nimepata mmoja, hata wa jamii nyingine namtafuta, ninawaambia mtulize hiyo, na mkinihitaji tukae chini tulete amani, mimi niko tayari.
On the other hand, Amina Dike, the Tana River women representative, says that those inciting violence are known and should be arrested and face the law.
Na tumejua chanzo kubwa ya hii vita ni mambo ya ardhi. Na tukasema ni haki ya kila mwana Tana River kuhusishwa katika mambo ya ardhi. Kama ni komiti ya kugawanya hiyo ardhi, lazima kila kabila ijulishwe. Kama ni leaders, lazima wahusike. Kama ni watu ambao watu wanatoka kwingine kuja kuhama kwa area yao, lazima wahusishwe na wao wakubali. Na tukasema pia county assembly lazima ipitishe sheria ambao utasaidia watu kuishi pamoja. Kwa hivyo nyinyi pia kama watu wa Tana River, tudumishe amani.
Communities have also been urged to come together as one for peace to be maintained. Rukia Hussein, KUTV.
So now, across our borders, with less than a month to go until the United States presidential elections, the Democratic and Republican nominees have a busy week ahead. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are both scheduled to continue rallying supporters in key states. VOA's Veronica Balderas Iglesias reports.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump was defiant Saturday while addressing his supporters at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was the same area where a shooter wounded him in July during an assassination attempt. He stressed that the incident, the first of 2 attempts on his life, only made him more determined to win the presidential election.
Over the past 8 years, those who want to stop us from achieving this future have slandered me, impeached me, indicted me, tried to throw me off the ballot, and who knows, maybe even tried to kill me.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, was asked to comment on Trump's remarks and similar ones made over the weekend by the former president's son, Eric.
I don't think they're saying that the Democratic Party tried an assassination attempt. I think what they're alluding to is what we've all been saying. They have got to turn the rhetoric down.
Meanwhile, Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has been juggling her duties as vice president with her campaign schedule. On Saturday, she was in North Carolina pledging federal support to communities affected by Hurricane Helene. A day earlier, Harris brought attention to the state of the presidential race.
This is going to be a very tight race until the very end.
Democratic Representative Adam Schiff was asked Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press whether he believes Harris and the Democrats can win overwhelmingly in November.
I think she can win overwhelmingly, given how divided the country is. Overwhelming may be winning by 100,000 votes or 80,000 votes in these key battleground states. Young people who were disengaged are now engaged, interested, active, volunteering. So I think we are well poised to win this thing, but it is still scary close.
The vice president will be busy with a series of media engagements this week, including appearances on popular talk shows her campaign announced. She's also expected to campaign in Nevada on Thursday and in Arizona on Friday. The Trump campaign website says the former president will travel to Pennsylvania on Wednesday to give remarks in Scranton and hold a rally that same day in the city of Reading. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.
Thank you, Veronica Balderas Iglesias, for that report from the US. I'm just having a look at, I'm not one to trust polls, which sometimes are not very transparent, but this is the closest we can get to the US. Here, who's winning the US presidential elections, Trump or Harris? The polls are showing that Harris is actually currently having a national lead of near about 3 to 4 points over former US President Donald Trump. So she's right to say that it's going to be tight all the way to the very last day, which will be on the 5th of November 2024, and it happens to be on a Tuesday. So we'll be here on a very fateful Tuesday during the general elections on that side of the world, and then we'll be following up with the results and the happenings of that day. Who do you think is going to take this next presidency in the US? Is it Kamala Harris or Donald Trump back yet again to the House or to the White House after being impeached and indicted, just as he has said? Let's move back to the Middle East. The Hamas terror attack on Israel last year, October, sparked a conflict that has become the deadliest in recent history for journalists and media workers. At least 116 of them, nearly all Palestinian, have been killed. VOA speaks with reporters and media analysts about this situation.
The October 7 Hamas assault killed 1,200 in Israel. Terrorists kidnapped 251 people. The attack ignited a war that continues to this day. Among the mounting number of civilian deaths are dozens of journalists.
More journalists were killed in the first 10 weeks of the war than have ever been killed in a single country over the course of an entire year.
According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, the death toll as of October 1st is 111 Palestinians, 2 Israelis, and 3 Lebanese journalists.
There is also are very great challenges in terms of access to the story for journalists. And the story is, in my experience, the most polarizing story we've ever had to deal with in my long career as a journalist.
Tarek Hajjaj is a Gaza correspondent for Mondoweiss, an online publication covering the Palestinian territories, Israel, and U.S. policy. He has lived his entire life in Gaza City.
And every time I was walking under the Israeli drones and warplanes, I was feeling that every second they may bomb me, specifically me, because I know they target journalists and I know they don't want anything from Gaza to get out to the people.
Founded as a progressive news site, Mondoweiss has faced criticism for what some say are anti-Israeli views. The Israeli government has denied on multiple occasions that it targets journalists, but CPJ and others say the Israel Defense Forces should be accountable for the high media death toll. Nearly all those who died are Palestinian.
They're also the only people able to report from Gaza because no foreign journalists have been allowed in. So they bear the full weight of responsibility of reporting on the impact of the war on Gaza.
Injury and death are not the only risks journalists face.
Some of the dangers are not just physical dangers, but there's cyber stalking and harassment and intimidation of journalists.
The United Nations had condemned the attacks on journalists, indicating that there were disturbing reports of attacks against media workers despite being clearly identified. In response to a UN report, the IDF said it does not deliberately shoot at civilians, including journalists. Hajjaj remembers every story he has covered since October 7. Some, he says, were devastating to write, but he knows it's his job to keep reporting on what is happening. With Liam Scott, Cristina Caicedo Smith, VOA News.
Right, that brings us to the end of the updates here this morning. We are grateful once more to KUTV Newsroom, the reporters, the editors and the producers for bringing us that information relevant within the borders and outside, which grounds the conversations of the day here here on Biashara Tuesday. So if you're out there, go online, use the hashtag Biashara Tuesday, hashtag Rise Today, tag us at KUTV Kenya. We'll be able to see that. There are conversations which are coming up. We are going to delve into a pressing issue that's shaping our digital age, the economy of misinformation and disinformation. In this era where information or truth spreads as fast as lies, the lines between truth and falsehood are continually becoming blurry. So this phenomenon is a nuisance, not only in our personal lives, but in the broader community. From having influence on elections, which are very complex issues, to health information, the impact of politics, this is very profound to discuss on this show. In the discussion, we'll look at the mechanics of the digital economy, who benefits, who is benefiting, and who is suffering from the spread of misinformation and disinformation. We'll also have a look at a particular position that the young people find themselves in, which is very vulnerable, the biggest consumers of digital content. So who are often the victims are the young people, because they are the unwitting participants being on their phones and their laptops and the internet on a daily basis. They spread and they also do consume this misinformation. So as we try and understand the dynamics of this issue, we can also try and better equip ourselves in how to combat the spread of falsehoods to ensure that we're protecting ourselves and the society from the harmful effects of the spread of disinformation and misinformation. The Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, CRECO, is an organization that is focused on governance and human rights, and especially focused on civil society actors who are working in Kenya. They were founded all the way back in 1998. They've been tracking down the most important issues, most pressing issues when it comes to governance and human rights. That's why they are the relevant people to have this discussion with. The economy of misinformation and disinformation. Who gains, who loses, and what are the net effects on the young people? That's what's coming up, so don't go too far. I'll be back with them. Let me take a short break. This is still Biashara Tuesday.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si kukufuku. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaweza kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Get ready to embark on a journey into the exciting world of technology as we uncover the latest trends, interview top thought leaders, and dive deep into the world of tech like never before.
Currently, we are facing the challenge in terms of finance. It requires one to move from different counties because we really need a large data set for our model to be more accurate.
In this new and exciting series of the Technovation Show, join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Monday, 8:30 p.m. for a fun and thrilling experience as we explore the cutting-edge developments, meet visionaries driving change.
Somebody who is in the underground mine doesn't know the presence of those gases. So there are a lot of gases involved. There is methane, there's carbon monoxide, and there's also hydrogen sulfide. These gases actually, they are very dangerous and they're very toxic.
And discover the endless possibilities of the tech world. Ugonjwa wake wa ngozi ulimbadilishia taaluma.
Nilikuwa na ugonjwa fulani wa ngozi hapa katika mkono wangu. Sasa nikienda hospitali, nikipewa dawa, ninapaka, nikimaliza dawa inarudi. It was very stubborn. Nikipewa dawa, nikipaka, nikimaliza inarudi. Sasa siku moja nilipokuwa tu ofisini nikitoka kwenda lunch, nikampata mama mmoja hapa, alikuwa na stand, alikuwa anauza mafuta ya shea butter. Sasa nikakuwa na interest.
Kutoka kuwa mtaalamu wa bima, sasa Joyce Musyoka ni mtaalamu wa kuunda mafuta ya kiasili. Ungana nami Caroline Kimwele Jumatano hii katika kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake kwa uhondo kamili.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics, inclusive of but not limited to dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
The digital age, I'm sure most of the people who are watching this show right now are not watching it on TV. They're probably streaming it on their phones or casting it on TV from their phones or watching it on a laptop. for some reason, it's mostly digital. The comments we're receiving are on Twitter, they are on Facebook, they are on YouTube. So most of what is happening in this show is very digitized. And that's why it's important we have the conversation on the spread of information. I am the first person who spreads information on Tuesdays on this digital front that we have here with you called Biashara Tuesday. So it's important that you ensure what I say here every morning is something that is fact-checked, it's information that's relevant, it's not something that is misguiding you or misinforming you or disinforming you for that matter. So we're having this discussion with the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium. They've been able to send me two gentlemen who will introduce themselves in just a short while to discuss the economy of misinformation. Who gains, who loses, and what is the net effect on the young people. I'd also like them to weigh in a bit later on the political happenings in the country, people, you know, switching sides, saying different statements every day. Yesterday we had a presser from the Deputy President, you know, also saying that some of information that is out there about him isn't the correct info. So who do we trust? Is he the one with the correct info? Are they the people accusing him with the right info? How do you decide for yourself? So some of those ways in which you can arm yourself to combat misinformation and disinformation are also happening here in the conversation that is coming up. So leave a comment and any question on social platforms at KUTV Kenya and on my personal ones at Richard_Mata. Right. Welcome back, Brian. I think we had a similar discussion earlier, which means this is a continuation